Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have ourselves a 2v2. That's right, it is a 2v2 on Semoskiy. Our heroes today are going to be Jewish Nazi, playing for the Soviets, flanked by his ally and trusted companion Florikalletal. Kalletal? I don't know. Flory, I'll probably end up calling him, or just the yellow player. Again, for the Soviets. The opponents today are going to be oedibus, oedibus, playing as the Germans in the red, and in the pink or purple trunks, depending your preference, it is Frankiki 06, again, as a German. So very nice. Another 2v2. Yes, I took a bit of a break, 2 weeks off of those, but yeah, we're back. We'll be able to do more team games. I'm not going to spam them, but, you know, we'll add them into the mix. So, right off the bat, we see that everybody has selected their doctrines, so let's talk about that a little bit. Frankiki, the one that we're looking at right now, went for the Jaeger Infantry Doctrine. Doctrine, I should say, not Doctrine. Oedibus, as you can see by his Assault Grenadiers just running out into the field right now, went for the Mechanized Assault Doctrine. Jewish Nazi, as you can see him going right now into the center with his Combat Engineers, selected the Shock Motor Heavy Tactics. So giving him that nice little ISU potential there. And lastly, his ally in the yellow, which has a conscript squad out here in the center and a combat engineer going to the right, went for the Soviet shock army. So a lot of shock troops, and well, we'll see what happens. Tech-wise, let's go ahead and close this because I don't like it. Tech-wise, we saw that Jewish Nazi went for tier 1, and he's getting himself penal battalions with a conscript squad out there, so that's nice. In the new patch, however, it is not strictly necessary to use the conscripts to merge, but it's still a nice idea. You know, they do output a little bit more damage, so might as well keep that on the field as long as possible. But, you know, they're a little bit more viable with their reduction in cost, as they now cost how much exactly? Let's double check here. 270 rather than the 340 that they did before. Anyways, conscripts in the center running to the Assault Grenadiers, forced to retreat. Not much gonna happen there. Anyways, I was talking about tech. His ally went for tier 2, so a nice little combination there for the Soviets. It is very easy for the Soviets to do that because, well, they can build whichever one. For the Germans, however, most of the time, they go for tier 1, and you can see that both players have actually gone tier 1. We have Assault Grenadiers and MG42, although only one Assault Grenadier squad on the field for Oedibus. So, you know, not really fond of spamming those, which is nice to see. A little bit of a combined arms. Maxim machine gun in the church for Flory, opening up against the MG of Oedibus, and the MG actually gets suppressed, trying to crawl out of the way. I wonder if it'll make it into the house. It looks like it will. Yeah, manages to break the suppression and pops into the house to get some cover. Left hand side, penal battalion running into some Pios. The Pios, well, have to run away. And yeah, I mean, like I said, German players, both of them were forced for tier 1, although we see that Frankiki is looks like he's teching, all things considered. He hasn't gotten much. He has one Grand Squad, and Pios also building munitions cache right out there in the front of the base. Looks interesting. Conscripts over here. Bunker getting laid down by Frankiki. I don't think he's going to be able to do so unless he loses his Pios. He's playing a dangerous game there. The combat engineers are right on top of the Pios. The Pios are trying to finish the building. They are taking extra damage, but they will actually finish the construction. And they could even jump in and have some cover in there. But down to 2 men. They'll probably be forced to retreat. The engineers for Jewish Nazi are forced to retreat, as they're probably going to be building some tech. And we see a sniper coming into the field for Jewish Nazi. His ally, for his part, only has 2 conscripts and an MG, or well, the Maxim machine gun currently in the center. So yeah, kind of low tech game right now. We'll see what happens. Up in the north, penal battalion running into the Assault Grenadiers. More Assault Grenadiers now on the field for Oedibus. He has 2 with mortar as well. Interesting, mortar right here in the center, being used to flush out. Nice satchel. Oh, wow, that was a very lucky squad, actually. Stays alive at 1 man. By all rights, that one guy should have died. I guess he had a friendly in front of him, and all the shrapnel and whatever explosive force of the satchel got absorbed by his friend, and he stayed alive. But by all rights, he should have actually died. thing is that I don't think... Huh. That's actually interesting. I don't think the satchel charge actually got changed in the recent patch. You know how they changed the grenades and such? I think the satchel charge was left the same as it was before, so I guess that's why it allowed that guy to stay alive. Pretty sure if that was a nade, though, everybody there would have been dead, but oh well, we'll see. Anyways, Molotovs getting tossed into that MG42 in the house. MG42 actually gets killed instantly. Gun is lost to the battlefield, while the Maxim machine gun now holds the center. Right-hand side, mines on the field for Jewish Nazi. We have a Garen squad and Pios just sitting next to it. Very dangerous situation there for Mr. Frankiki. He captures the point and is probably going to move his squads in a second. I want to see if he actually detonates the mine with anybody. Pios decide to go build the munitions. Interesting choice that they're actually going for munitions. Usually you see people going for fuel, but I guess they want munitions. Oh, come on, somebody hit the mine. Up in the far north, we see Penal Battalion getting assaulted by the assault grants. Stun grenade? No, that's not a stun grenade, that's a satchel charge. Never mind. Satchel charge. Oh, that actually killed the squad now. See, I mean, look at that. I mean, that actually killed the squad when it was moving away, while the other one took the entire blast, and one of them actually lived. So, I guess that the satchel still needs a little bit of reworking, but for the most part, it's still ridiculously powerful. Mortar shots flying over to the right-hand side, trying to take out the conscripts. The conscripts are going to have to run through some Grens. And a Pio squad. No, they actually take the optimal route and head back home through this side, allowing them to stay alive. LMG still firing, but they'll be fine. So we do see the effects of the changes here, where vehicles have been delayed. We finally see something coming into the field, and that is a half-track for oedibus with a Panzer Grenadier squad inside. So, considering he's getting that, I'm assuming he's probably going to be skipping Tier 2, going straight to Tier 3, or maybe all the way up to Tier 4. We shall see. Back at the base for the Soviets, we see Tier 2 going down for Jewish Nazi. Why? I don't know just yet. He hasn't gotten anything from it. Maybe he just wants to have the security of being able to build an AT gun. But, yeah, I mean, nothing out there so far. Conscripts running into the center. Maxim machine gun back in the church just to take some cover. Mortar in the center. Half-track coming into the field. We have the sniper nearby. The half-track is going to try to chase it down. Sniper retreating. Conscripts in the way. I'm not sure if they have 18-8s, however. So the half-track will not be able to get snared, maybe. AT gun is getting produced for both players in the Soviet side. So they see the vehicle on the field and they figured, okay, well, I guess this time we get some type of anti-vehicle. 18-8 does go off on the half-track by the conscripts, but there is a Panzer Grenadier inside that half-track, and they're going to take a lot of damage. In fact, so much damage that they died. Bit of a mistake there by Jewish Nazi, leaving his conscripts out there. 18-8 did go in, but, well, the Pios are nearby. They'll just repair it, and it'll be just fine. Sniper heading back out into the field. Let's put a hotkey on that guy. Keep an eye on him. Only 2 kills so far, so nothing too impressive. But the Germans are playing a little bit, how shall we say, defensively. They're setting up a lot of bunkers to cover the river approaches. You can see bunker there, another bunker right here. So they're going to try to secure their side of the river, I suppose. And then just control the center. Center is currently controlled by the Soviet forces, so, well, that'll take a while. And they do have munitions caches on all the points pretty much on their side that they can. I mean, we have one right here, we have one right here, we have one that's currently getting burned right here. We have a fuel, no, that's actually a fuel point. Not the point up north does not have. So the ones on the right, it is interesting though that they are munitions points because, well, yeah, I guess they can use a lot of abilities freely. They're gonna have a lot of munitions, but, well, I mean, you could go for a munitions cache if somebody had something like the Luftwaffe Doctrine, where you can transfer, convert munitions to fuel. But usually speaking, you want fuel because you want to be able to, you know, get those tanks out there very quickly. But, well, they're going for munitions. So anyways, conscript squad up in the center for, I forgot his name already. What is his name? Florikalletal. Flori. Gets itself killed. We do have a 120mm mortar out there since he has the Soviet shock army. Covered by the church, essentially, so not a bad position. It gives him a lot of range in there. Up in the north, sniper and AT gun engaging against the Grand Squad. The Grand Squad also getting burned by the Penal Battalion. The Sniper taking some shots, up to 3 kills itself. Shot's going to go off. No, it's actually going to miss. Take a shot. Misses, yeah. There you go. Half-track moving over to the right-hand side, while another half-track goes straight through the center. Going to get a little bit of a flank here on the AT gun. AT gun getting turned around to try to phase this half-track. The half-track going to get shot. No, half-track hides itself behind the building. Remember, you can always attack ground. Just try to hit the actual vehicle. Second AT gun on the field does manage to get some shots off on that half-track. The half-track will go down. There it goes. Panzer Grenadier Squad pops out, loses one of its men in the explosion. Maxim machine gun opening up on the men as they retreat. Penal Battalion is being moved down. AT gun up in the north to be moved as well. But the sniper did get executed at some point. Right there, they are dead in the middle of the road. The spotter and the actual sniper. Quite unfortunate. But that is the way of things, I suppose. Penal Battalions still moving up north. Conscripts getting produced once again. Heading back out onto the field. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be one of those games. A little bit of passive play by both sides. Not a lot of poking and prodding. It looks like Tier 3 is going down for Mechanized. We have florikalletal not actually teching up to anything. He doesn't really have much as far as Collins goes. I mean, actually he doesn't have anything with his Doctrine, the Soviet Shock Army. He can make a artillery weapon, but that's about it. So, florikalletal could use all that fuel to actually start teching up and wow, excuse me, I had a little bit of a aneurysm there and I needed some oxygen. Anyways, yeah, I mean, florikalletal could just start teching up to something, anything. Has his combat engineers back home, just teching up. Tier 4 might be good. Another Tier 3, I suppose, wouldn't be too bad, but anything, and start using that fuel to produce some tanks. Conscripts with PPSHs. Pushing up. AT gun shooting at that munitions cache, just breaking the center. But we do have a tank on the field, and that is a Stuggy, the Stug 3E for oedibus, from his Doctrine, obviously. We still have no tech. We see Tier 2 only now going down for Frankici. Not exactly sure what he's trying to do with that, but, well, I guess sooner rather than late. I mean, it's better late than never, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, Penal Battalion up in the north. Gonna get killed. I don't think he's gonna make it out alive, all things considered. No, not even gonna try to retreat. AT gun pushes up, trying to get the kill on the Stuggy. Only gets itself killed, giving the enemy a free anti-tank weapon. And the conscripts up north do throw 18-8s, but the Stuggy deflects them. Penal Battalion moving in to try to engage, but that's a lot of infantry. This conscript squad will have to retreat. Can it make it out? I think it'll make it out. The Panzer Grenadiers are on the other side. And as good as Assault Grenadiers are with their SMGs, well, they're not good. They're SMGs, so at range, they don't really have too much damage, while the Sturmgewehr rifles, the MP44s here, do a lot of damage, especially, well, not especially at range, but they also do damage at range, so that Penal Battalion is actually lucky to be alive. Up in the north, mortar shots are landing nearby, just, you know, trying to support, but not managing to do much. Conscript squads push up in the center. They're going to go for that munitions cache once again. It's going to take them quite a while. Back at base, T-34 getting produced for Jewish Nazi. He did lose some stuff, but he replaces with a shock troop squad, so nice little combination there of troops. And we see the purple player producing an MG42 after he produced Tier 2. Okay. Far up north, Panzer Grenadier Squad not wanting to cap the point. They place themselves exactly outside the points so they don't actually cap it, so that's nice. Center map. Nothing much happening. Pios push forward. They run into the conscript squad. A nasty mortar shot there on the conscript squad. That was, I'm pretty sure, from this mortar. 7 kills on that. Does this have any friendly kills? No, but it also has no enemy kills, so Soviet mortar has not been performing very well. Down south, we hear a lot of Grents engaging a combat engineer squad. They were trying to lay down a mine, but they did not manage to put in the activation codes for the nukes, so they're going to be inert there, not detonate. T-34 hits the field for Jewish Nazis. Going to run straight into 3 Panzerfaust as 3 Grenadier squads are in front of it. It realizes, oh wait, those squads can actually Faust me, so I'm gonna back off. Wait, they didn't Faust me, so I'm just gonna keep on going forward. LMG's trying to penetrate the hull of the T-34, and they are having no luck since they're shooting bullets at a tank. Now, Grant's down south, well not down south, but the Grant squad right here is, oh no, wow, that is unfortunate. It's actually gonna run through the most inopportune and least favorable direction, and well, it gets itself killed to the base sector MG. The other two, though, a little bit more intelligently, they rally themselves and retreat back their way they came. Barbed wire is set down here by the Soviets so that nobody comes through this path, even though this path is completely open, so I don't know exactly what's going on there. And the Soviets actually deny themselves the ability to run through there since, you know, well, they can't. T-34 and the Penal Battalion going to recap down south. Conscript is moving around. Center is still being held by the Soviet forces. 451 points for the Soviets, 344 for the Germans. Soviets holding a 100-point lead. We do have tanks and half-tracks on the field for the Germans. Still no additional tech. We see nothing. Panzer Grenadiers getting produced. No additional tech. No vehicles. And a lot of fuel. Back at base, Flory finally decides to build Tier 3. Not producing anything just yet, however, but well, he at least has it. Second T-34 on the field for Jewish Nazi. He's apparently going to try and go for a little bit of a flanking maneuver on the southern side, and maybe break stuff there. But yeah, doesn't seem like much of an offensive is going to be placed in the center. Half track up in the north, running into some conscripts. It does have a Panzer Grenadier squad inside, so they'll be fine. But there is a mine right there. Almost getting baited into that. Conscripts do manage to throw an 18-8 as the half-track passes by. AT gun goes off. Half-track out of control. Panzer Grenadiers lose 2 of their men in the explosion. Look at them fly. Nice little ragdoll there. And the Panzer Grenadiers retreat. The Maxim machine gun in the church, however, does end up retreating as mortar shots have been landing in the church and killed all of his comrades. He retreats back to the safety of his base and to get reinforced. Second Maxim machine gun moves in to replace him, although it sits in the outside of the church rather than get inside and continue to get some shots off. T-34s move across the southern sides. Fortunately for the T-34s, the Germans decided not to heavily mine the approaches, even though they already had them locked down. And they have munitions caches, which would allow them to lay down a lot of mines, but no. Bunkers getting shot at by tanks. One bunker already down. Second bunker about to go down over here. And the third bunker on the right-hand side is apparently going to be left alone. Bunker going to be broken. There it goes. Conscripts pushing all the way to the right-hand side. We have another T-34 on the field now for Flory, moving straight into the front of the base. MG-42 bunker in the front of the base, trying to hold there. Faust going off on the Grens. Shrek's going off on the Panzer Grenadiers. This T-34 is done for, and there it goes. Very aggressive, but very reckless. Another T-34 by Jewish Nazi moves up, straight into the path of those 4 Panzer Shreks, and the ability to get Fausted once again. Second T-34 moves in to support, but there is no infantry nearby to support them. Conscripts moving back in. One T-34 goes down, as it very well should. Faust goes off on the second T-34. Shreks continue to fly. Panzer Grenadiers and the Grens holding strong. Molotov's getting tossed on the Grens. The Grens getting burned alive. One Panzer Grenadier squad is forced to retreat. The second one reloads. Going to shoot another Faust. I mean, not Faust, but Shrek at the T-34. There it goes. T-34 down to a sliver of health. Another Shrek will do it. There it goes. And T-34 is lost. More Panzer Grenadiers. More Panzer Shreks. And the shock troops unable to really do much. There is an MG-42 in this house for Frankiki, and it is denying the shock troops the ability to just slaughter the infantry. They are forced to retreat, and the Allies have lost all their tanks. We do see a T-70 on the field, all the way up north, just harassing. It runs into some Pio squads. The Pio squads actually managing to survive very well against it, surprisingly well. But, I mean, they'll eventually die if they don't move. T-34 decides, you know what, I think I have to close the distance here. Pios notice, oh, he's onto us. We're just going to retreat. And there you go. Right-hand side, we see the Grens just going to recap the territory. Further down south, combat engineers for Jewish Nazi just setting down some fuel caches. And we have the stolen AT gun up north. It did manage to get a shot off on the T-70, but the T-70 is now circle strafing it. We see approaching conscripts to try to help and decrew it. The T-70 just sits behind the AT gun and it will, well, it'll win. AT gun actually gets destroyed. That's unfortunate. Mechanized could have recovered that. We have the, Tiger on the field for oedibus. So oedibus deciding to skip all tech altogether and just go straight for the Tiger. The T-70 is just going to run. I'm pretty sure it's just going to run. Conscripts are trying to slow them down. However, they now find themselves in the midst of a massive amount of German infantry, and they die, as they should. T-70 manages to scurry away and get away from the big-ass Tiger and stays alive. Stuggy still not being used in the fight all the way up in the north. And the center is still controlled by a lot of Soviet forces. They are moving themselves back to place themselves in better positions. These conscripts coming out of the base could just simply merge with the AT gun, instead of the AT gun moving all the way back to the base to reinforce. Okay. Florikalletal could also use his massive amount of fuel, considering he has 320, to simply build a half-track from Tier 3 and reinforce on the fly. That actually would not be a very bad idea, considering all the infantry forces he has in the center. But he decides to instead just move his AT gun all the way back to base, heal up his remaining 2 members, and reinforce like that. Optimal place? No, I don't think so. Artillery barrage right on top of the Maxim machine gun. Maxim machine gun gets destroyed, and the squad gets taken out. Conscripts in the front, holding the line. The Panzer Grenadiers are forced to retreat, but the damage is done as the Maxim machine gun is no longer on the field. We do still have 2 Maxim machine guns available, where I don't actually know. No, one actually just died. I think the overlay is a little bit delayed. Other Maxim machine gun is in the front, but there you go.
You have a use for this scum?
Stuggy moves up to the north, runs into 3 conscript squads, and the conscript squads instantly retreat in the face of the Tiger and the Stuggy. The AT gun is not yet back. No, it's back. It's back. Never mind. It is back. And we see an artillery gun on the field. Interesting. So florikalletal going for the howitzer. We'll see how that turns out. Does not fire just yet. Looks like it is now getting turned to fire at something. And it's probably going to fire straight into the enemy base. There is a lot here. Oh, it hits the med bunker and the infantry makes it out of there without any scratch. And unfortunately, for some reason, the game doesn't want to render the explosions. So that's lame to look at, so we're not even going to look at it. On the field, T-34 for florikalletal. And yeah, so that, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Sorry about that. I at least want to make sure that this one is actually a little bit synced up. It was about 10 seconds off, it looks like. A little bit less, maybe. So, yeah, we'll let's just pause the game a little bit to let those overlays catch up. So, the artillery barrage manages to whiff it and not hit anything. We see a massive amount of infantry approaching into the center for oedibus. Maxim machine gun trying to stop as much as it can. Stops a grenadier squad right in the center. Right in front of it, in fact, and it's actually going to take a lot of damage. Up in the north, the shock troops and penal battalion plus an AT gun are trying to push away that Tiger. Actually, no, that's a Stug. Where's the Tiger? The Tiger is moving into the center. Going to be used to push with the other infantry. Although it could have been moved on the side to make up a flank, essentially. But, well, Grand Squad in the center, getting a little bit cleared out. We see Shreks flying from the side. A nice little flank here set up by oedibus himself. Shreks flying in all directions. The T-34 is getting assaulted. The howitzer is now getting targeted by a... What is it? A light artillery barrage? No. Yeah, it's a light artillery barrage. Not exactly sure why the overlays are not actually synced up. Yeah, that's annoying. Oh well. Shouldn't really affect us too much, at least we have an idea. Howitzer does go down, not accomplishing much. No reason for it to really be outside in the front. Could very easily just be back at base. Especially for all the good it did right now. T-70 over on the right-hand side. The Tiger very nearby. Not actually doing much to it. We did see an IL-2 a bombing strike in the center. Didn't accomplish much. We also see the Sturmovik just circling around. And a Maxim machine gun getting assaulted by a Panzer IV for Frankicky. There you go. 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I'll just make sure that that lines up a little bit better. Okay, so the Maxim machine gun down south gets destroyed. Center has actually been broken. The church collapses. The howitzer dies. The Maxim machine guns get decrewed. And as far as tank goes, we have a T-70 for the Soviets and a T-34 back at base. Tank-wise for the Germans, they are starting to mass up. They have a Tiger on the field, a Panzer IV coming into the field with another Panzer IV already fielded. And the Stuggy should be somewhere around here. No, I think it's actually dead. Yeah, I think it died up north. There it is. AT gun did manage to finish that off. Center map, crawling with Soviet infantry. We see another artillery barrage right on top of this the Soviet forces. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there we go. Now it actually comes into play. Yeah, sorry about that. Sloppy production values there, but oh well. Conscripts in the center, capturing some points. Germans just sitting around on their side of the river in this little island. A lot of Shreks, a lot of Grens, and the Maxim machine guns just sitting there not getting taken by anybody. Far North Point still has that cachet. The T-70 manages to make its way back home. The mine has not finished producing. It's still there. I have a combat engineer nearby, but they still haven't produced anything from it. And the Tiger is just roaming around in the center, not really having much to do. And, well, a little bit of a lull there in the fight. We see the Tiger moving into the center, supported by the Panzer IV. Conscripts getting shot at by the Tiger, taking a lot of damage, actually. And they're forced to retreat as, well, 3 tanks were facing them down and shooting at them, which is not quite pleasant when you're in infantry. Shots flying into the center. We have an ISU on the field for Jewish Nazi, however, it is a little bit too further forward. IL-2 strafing run coming right on top of the troops, German troops that is. But the ISU is actually the one inflicting a lot of damage here. Artillery barrage straight into the center. We see some infantry getting lost. T-34 getting in the way of that Panzer IV. The Panzer IV has to back off as there is an AT gun facing it down. Takes a shot and down goes the Panzer IV. Barrage from the Panzer Grenadiers goes down on the T-34. T-34 down to a sliver of health. The ISU shoots at the Panzer Grenadiers, killing some of them. It's actually going forward where it shouldn't. Oh, nasty shot goes in, kills the Panzer Grenadier squad. The other squad is down to 2 men. Shots continue to fly. Penal Battalion in the front. Tiger taking some shots. We see something getting called in. That is another light artillery barrage. That for some reason keeps on not getting registered in my relays. Why? Oh, there it goes. Finally actually triggers. Let's start the game again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if that's actually synced up. Maybe it's running slower for some reason. I don't think it is. Let's see. Is this one synced up? Yeah, that one's synced up. Okay. I think we have them in order now. It's kind of frustrating. It's a little bit of OCD there, but oh well. Panzer Grenadiers in the center, getting some shots off on that ISU for Jewish Nazi. Tiger actually manages to get a shot off on the ISU. However, the conscripts push forward. ISU, with the massive range, shoots and eliminates the enemy Tiger. Enemy Tiger is now down. ISU still going a little bit too forward. I wouldn't take it too far up there by itself. It is following the conscripts, however, so I suppose it will be able to help out. But we do have, what, a Panzer IV still in the field. Panzer IV can very easily get the upper hand on an ISU and kill it. So it's risky, but we'll see if it works out. Moves himself to the very edge of the lake. Able to shoot. No, still keeps on moving forward. Remember, ISU is not a tank. It's an assault weapon. Don't use it like tanks. Artillery barrage right on top of all these conscripts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on. There we go. They take some damage, but they manage to dodge that and continue to move forward further north. They're going to run into that mortar, and That half-track is still on the field and damaged. Hasn't actually seen any action, really, any time. But we'll see. Penal Battalion in the center running into some Grens and Panzer Grenadiers. Grens with LMGs and Grens with G43s. Panzer IV moving down to the south as we have the T-70 and Combat Engineers. Combat Engineers laying down some mines. Very nice for Jewish Nazi. But the Panzer IV will eliminate those Combat Engineers before they lay down the mine. As one man is left, it's going to take forever to lay it down and he gets killed. T-70 will also die. Futile battle here. Maybe move it out of the way. No. Okay. Shot goes off. Panzer IV. No, actually T-70. No, it's not going to make it out. No. Run. Run, little guy. Run. Well, Panzer IV manages to not kill it. Strafing run right inside the enemy base. Manages to get some kills. Another tank, Tiger tank is on the field for oedibus, however. We see the ISU up in the north getting repaired by conscripts, as the conscripts can repair with this Doctrine, so not a bad choice. It is only a 3-man conscript squad, however, so it will take forever. Needs a little bit more help. Combat Engineer squad is not very expensive, so it would not be a bad idea. And reinforcing the conscript squad would also help. So the howitzer, once again, is shooting. It is shooting, I believe, into the enemy base. No, it's... Well, actually, it shot something here. Yeah, it is shooting out here. Strange that it's, trying to hit stuff here, but I suppose it's fine. Shock troops in the center, getting eliminated by all the German infantry. ISU still getting repaired very slowly. T-34 up in the north manages to get a ram off on the Tiger. The Tiger gets immobilized and its main gun destroyed. The ISU is just shooting at it at range, managing to inflict massive amounts of damage, and it will kill the Tiger eventually. However, if Mr. Frankiki is, well, a little bit proactive here, he can very simply just move his Panzer Grenadiers up to the north and move and force away that ISU, or kill it before it actually takes out the Tiger. However, he decides to just stay in the center only now as he's finally moving in that direction with the T-34 there in the way to intercept. Shots continue to fly. The T-34 is still alive, but it will die. And the ISU, come on, get a shot off. Shoots at the Tiger. Tiger goes down. So at least they get the kill on that. They may lose the ISU in this engagement. However, as Shrek's flying its direction, down goes the ISU. And the T-34 is the only thing left, facing down a massive amount of anti-tank weaponry, which it's sitting there taking, and it dies because of that. So another ISU can get produced for Jewish Nazi. He still has that T-70 back at base, but he does need a little bit more fuel, about 50 more. But yeah. So all the German infantry managing to push back. The T-34 is still alive. It's up there in the north. Could potentially, get recovered, but in this, in the current situation, it is highly unlikely that anything will be able to sneak behind the lines and recover that. And more than likely a tank, namely this tank coming into the field, will probably just move in that direction and destroy the Soviet tank. IL-2 strafing run coming down, and the German infantry, the Grenadiers, get forced away. Assault Grens and... brain, stop it. And Panzer Grens moving up to the front, and they're going to decap the center point. T-34s getting massed up back at base for Flori, making their presence really not known. So he's starting to mass up his little army. Jewish Nazi, for his part, has lost everything. He only has a conscript squad on the field, essentially. And it's not even on the field, I don't think. That's back at base repairing. And the Maxim machine gun just defending the front of the base so that his point here doesn't get decapped. T-34s move up. We still have the artillery gun. The artillery gun is currently shooting. Is it shooting back at base? Yeah. It is shooting back at base, and I don't know why it just continues to barrage into the base. I mean, it's not a bad idea to shoot like in Chicky where you force a retreat, but might as well use it to remove emplacements and break positions, but whatever. Panzer IV moves all the way up to the front. There's nothing there to stop them. T-34s move up to the north to try to get the Panzer IV that was up there, but the Panzer IVs are no longer there. The T-70 moves up, gonna get itself shot by Panzer IVs. It manages to get behind the Panzer IV. The Panzer IV taking a lot of damage. But it takes out that T-34. The AT guns are flying from the front of the base, and the Panzer IV will go down. One Panzer IV down, second one getting flanked by two T-34s. Gonna get itself killed, so nice little pickup here for the Soviet forces as the Germans lose all their armor, and a Panzer IV actually gets abandoned. That is a nice little pickup there that potentially Jewish Nazi could use, considering he doesn't have any units. He does have a conscript squad that is currently running in that direction. Pack AT gun over here getting set up against the T-34s. T-34s getting flanked by Panzer Shreks and getting shot by an AT gun. They're going to take a lot of damage and go down. The Gurens over here actually have G-43s and Shreks. Wow, that is quite powerful. T-34 goes down to massive barrages. We see a bombing run right on top of nothing. Destroys almost the wreckage of his old tank, and there it goes. Panzer IV, though, does get recovered by florikalletal. Not wanting to share, he decides to replace his loss with another tank. And yeah, Jewish Nazi could call in another ISU, but he doesn't have enough manpower to do so, so he's probably just going to sit around and wait.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory. Sector has been cut off.
Oh, that is not good. That is what, an artillery barrage? An artillery barrage that once again does not appear on the overlay until later. Why is it slow? I feel like for some reason it may be running faster than it should, but I don't know. IL-2. Oh, that IL-2 did a lot of damage. Kills off an entire squad. Panzer Grenadiers and the Assault Grenadier squad barely makes it out of there. Shrek's getting dropped in the world. We actually have an LMG and a Shrek squad out there. The conscripts for Jewish Nazi could very well use that. They don't have any upgrades, so send those guys out, capture those things. There's also a Maxim machine gun there, a reinforcement bunker in the center, and a Panzer Grenadier squad coming right on top of the conscript squad that will kill it. This conscript squad is not meant for this world. The IL-2 does go in for the strafe and gets a little bit of damage in on that half-track. Forces it to back off, but not before it kills that conscript squad in the center, as we assumed it would. A shot goes off onto the half-track by something. There was an AT gun nearby. Looks like it barely got in range, and it takes it out. Panzer Grenadiers just walk it off as they are still at 3 men, and they're going to go pick up that Shrek that unfortunately the Soviet forces decide to leave alone. This Shrek could have gotten picked up by Flori very easily, but the Germans now have another Shrek. IL-2 does do another strafe, gets a couple more kills on the squad, but it makes it out. So there you go. A lot of infantry in the center. Another ISU on the field for Jewish Nazi. Nice little artillery barrage there by the AT gun, hitting in the center of all the infantry. Not managing to get too many kills, however, as the infantry moves out of the way. The artillery gun is now in a bad spot. The other AT gun could throw an artillery barrage, but it does not have enough munitions to do so. And the weapon itself is probably going to die as massive amounts of Shreks are shooting at it. ISU moves into the field, takes a shot from very long range. No, that's an artillery barrage. But the artillery barrage is shooting where the infantry was, not where they are right now, so they're fine. They're actually going to dodge that quite easily. That's unfortunate. Look at them clumped up there. That is like prime artillery target. And there they go. They're pushing forward. We have AT guns on the field. These could just simply get destroyed by these Shreks, but it doesn't look like they're inclined to do so. AT guns getting some shots off at the distance. The ISU is also being used as an AT gun essentially. They'll be able to take down something. We see an artillery barrage getting called in right on top of everything. Now that one actually seems like it was ahead of time, but whatever. Massive shots there into the center. Those AT guns actually managing to do quite a bit. ISU has a prime shot right here to kill a lot of things. Oh, look at that. A lot of kills go down. Actually, not too many. Looks like a little bit more. Does have 8 kills to its name, but the infantry are forced to retreat. They do drop a Shrek there for the Soviets as they can finally pick something up and start doing something. But all these AT guns and such need to get picked up once again so they can recover it. Shrek getting picked up. Artillery barrage being used by the enemy stolen AT gun. And the ISU is shooting back. The ISU is actually in range of it, which is kind of dangerous for the ISU, but backs off. T-34s and Panzer IV move up. Looks like the Soviets are going to move in, or setting up for another push. But we shall see if they are able to do so. Back at base, the Germans... Okay, Tier 2 actually goes down for oedibus, and he decides to get himself a scout car. Interesting choice. Maybe he just wants to use it to be able to get in range to spot and throw artillery barrages. Yeah, that might be a feasible move. Conscripts in the center, forcing away the mortar. We also have the stolen AT gun and some Grens and Panzer Grens moving down. Not going to be able to do much to that, though. Oop.
Machine gun team, prepare for combat.
And the tank armada for florikalletal is moving up to the north. We see yet another Tiger coming into the field for oedibus, and no real tank support. We do have Tier 3, obviously, for Frankici, as he had Panzer IVs before, but nothing built just yet. Frankici is floating 300 fuel, but not a lot of manpower, so he can't really build much, but he could potentially start building more tanks. And if they had, you know, fuel caches rather than munitions, they could potentially, you know, field more vehicles. So the Panzer Grens up north engaging the 3 T-34s, getting themselves slaughtered, but managing to inflict some damage on the lead tank. The AT gun sits back at range, and conscripts move in to support. ISU not getting pushed too forward, just sitting there in the center. Mortar getting picked up. AT guns just sitting around in the center of the map, not doing a lot. Maxim machine gun pushes very aggressively up to the front of the base, getting annihilated down to 2 men. Not even going to be able to make it out of there. Won't even move, and there it goes. That's a lot of infantry. How much is that? Let's see. That is 4 Panzer Grenadier squads and 3 Gren squads. All of them with G43s. Well, actually, no. There's G43s, LMGs, and Shreks. Maxim machine gun trying to stop the approaching infantry. A strafing run on top of these guys would actually be very good, but there's no strafing run available since no munitions is... They don't have enough munitions, is what I'm trying to say. Artillery gun right on top of this could also be very deadly. The artillery gun is not inclined to shoot right now. T-34s and Panzer IV up in the north managed to get another ram off on that Tiger. The Tiger is now damaged. The Panzer IV looks like it's going to try to go for the kill on its former site tank or whatever. Former ally, I guess you could say. By the way, the T-34 up in the north did die eventually. Tiger is trying to run away. The Panzer IV is shooting at it, but not managing to inflict too much damage. The Tiger is very heavy, and the Panzer IV just bounces the shots. The ISU, unfortunately, is all the way back. And as far as AT guns goes, yeah, they could recrew this one, but nobody's doing that just yet. Panzer Grenadiers and Grens move up. A strafing run right on top of all of this. It's going to go for the infantry. Panzer Grenadiers and all the Grens retreating. There goes the damage. Oh, look at that damage. Oh, my God. Ripping infantry to shreds. Manages to force away the approaching infantry, but the Tiger looks like it will make it out of there to live another day. Front of the base, a lot of Grens and Panzer Grens just putting up a front. ISU being used to great effect here, just killing infantry. Already up to 23 kills, 23 of those being infantry. And the Panzer IV moves its way back. Artillery barrage right on top of them, but they managed to dodge that, so the second shot will not be able to do much. There is a Shrek dropped right there in the field. Another, no, that's a Maxim machine gun. This is a Maxim machine gun, a Maxim machine gun, a lot of Maxim machine guns, but all those weapons are not getting repurposed or reused. T-34 up in the north still disabled. We have the Tiger getting repaired. The scout car being used to try to shoot down the IL-2 strafer. Comes in for another pass. Probably going to go for the mortar. No, it goes for the Tiger. Can it get the Pios? No, it does not get the Pios. The scout car getting some shots off on that plane, but the plane just drives. I mean, not drives, flies off. Yes, it drives off through the air, and there it goes. Victory point 175 to 174. 174 to 174. So pretty much the closest game you can possibly imagine. Well, yeah, victory point-wise, it's anybody's game at this point, but currently the Germans are putting the bleed on the Soviets, so the Soviets, you know, they're running a little bit out of time, but they're, you know, they're kind of okay. They're starting to stabilize and getting a lot of forces. The ISU and the 2 tanks still left alive. The one up in the north is disabled, with 2 T-34s getting produced for florikalletal. Finally, he's starting to use his fuel, as he currently has 500 fuel available and nothing to spend it on, apparently. So yeah, just D-34s all day, every day. Panzergrenz and all that moves up to the north and engages the disabled tank. The scout car finally has nothing to fear from the T-34 and decides to instead shoot at infantry as it can kill those easily. And the mortar is now lost. The Germans could potentially take that. ISU over here on this side getting some shots off at a distance. Can it actually hit anything here? Shot flies? No, it looks like the ISU can't actually get any vision into that zone, so it will not shoot. Center map. Conscripts and Penal Battalion running into all the infantry once again. A satchel charge right on top of all this would be amazing, but the Penal Battalion is brutalized and forced away. There is Maxim machine gun there. The artillery gun is shooting in this direction. Might be able to get some shots off and kill anything, but no. Molotov goes down. All the infantry retreat. And the artillery gun is not able to hit anything else. Oh, it's actually hitting in the base. Almost takes out tier 1 for oedibus.
Our unit count is increasing.
But stays alive. Oh, ISU takes a nasty shot there at the approaching Panzergrenz. Panzergrenz getting brought down to 2 men, forced to retreat. A little bit to the left. Assault-Grens are capturing that point, but they stay alive. T-34s pushing by themselves, really. AT gun is set up to stop them, but it won't be able to stop them completely. The scout car does take a massive amount of damage to something, and it's essentially destroyed. It has a a destroyed engine, so it's barely crawling out of the way. T-34s get themselves behind the stolen AT gun and decrew it, while the while the scout car is shooting back, but well, now it dies. Mortar is nearby. The other mortars was left on the field. ISU pushes forwards now, chasing or looking at some Assault-Grens that are running away. Assault-Grens will have to run through some T-34s. The Tiger up in the north finally gets fully repaired, back to full strength. Ram goes off on one of the T-34s, gets no crit. Crew shock on the Tiger goes down, but the T-34 is now a goner. The T-34 on the other side is trying to get some damage off on the Tiger. The Tiger turns its sights to the destroyed tank and guns it down. The T-34 might want to go for a strafing run once again, but it's not advisable. And it's just going to kill itself as there's some massive amounts of anti-tank weaponry that's just going to shoot at it. There it goes. So yeah, might as well just gone for the Ram to do something. Disable the Tiger for a little bit more time. But no, I mean, there it goes. Panzer IV being used back here for defense. More artillery barrages into the base. Tier 1 does go down for oedibus, so he can no longer reproduce his Grens, I suppose, but not that that's too much of a deal for him. Medics healing up all the infantry. Out in the base, there's really not much on these sides. I mean, all this area is open. Maxim machine gun could be used over here and even put into the house, maybe. We have these Penal Battalion with a Shrek moving over to the right-hand side. We do not even have that bunker anymore, so the side is completely open, but nobody's moving in that direction. And we see the Maxim machine gun pushed up to the front of the base, but that's about it. Conscripts trying to stop the approaching infantry. They are being supported by the ISU. The ISU gets a shot off and manages to get some kills. We see another strafing run by the Sturmovik right on top of all the infantry. The infantry retreats. The plane gets some kills there, but does not manage to kill much else. You can see there a couple infantry died, but that's about it. The Tiger is back there, so it's actually a target for the IL-2. We'll see what happens. Grens, and Panzergrenz pushing over to the right-hand side. Again, we have the Penal Battalion and the Maxim machine gun just holding the other side of the river, not poking or prodding anywhere forward. Another T-34 on the field for Jewish Nazi as he still has his ISU on the left-hand side. And the Sturmovik comes in for another pass and goes for the scout car. No, actually. Let's see. Does he come in for another pass? He does. Scout car being the focus. Ooh, takes a lot of damage, but stays alive. And there he goes. Up in the north, the conscripts with their Shrek managed to destroy that point, opening it up. 18-8 goes off on the Tiger, getting a crit on the engine, and the Shrek is also available there to get some damage going. Tiger now down to about 75% strength, so it has actually suffered quite a bit to the hands of two conscript squads, which is not usually what happens. AT gun and maximum machine gun stopping the Grens as they move in that direction. Panzer Grens getting suppressed, but they managed to move out of the arc of fire. And the conscripts do take a lot of damage and are forced to retreat as the Tiger does, you know, suffer some sufficiently critical damage, I suppose. T-34s coming for the flank and go to the right. They're actually going straight into the base. We see another Tiger coming into the field for oedibus, so these T-34s are in a lot of trouble. We see another scout car on the field for oedibus. T-34 takes a shot and misses. Artillery shot landing right in front of the approaching T-34. A little bit risky there. Scout car getting focused down. Misses. And the brand new Tiger now running into those T-34s. The T-34s will be able to get some damage in. We do have a flak panzer on the field for Frankiki trying to shoot down planes, I suppose. T-34s move back. The Tiger is stopping and turning itself around to face the tanks inside his base. Shots fly at the clumped up infantry in the front of the base. And we see a bombing run right on top of all the infantry. The infantry are going to have to move. They are going to move. Here comes the bombing run, and they're going to be fine. Black Pants are going to take some shots. T-34s do some damage. Yeah, the bombing run hits there, destroys the med bunker, which is, I guess, nice, but not too big a deal. Ram goes off, and it burns out the engine before it gets there, and the Tiger now has the T-34 at its mercy. T-34 could potentially get out of there, but it won't, because it's just going to sit there and die. There it goes. Tiger up in the north, slowly crawling out of the way, as the scout car is actually still sitting by. We have the ISU with side range. Is it actually able to shoot at the Tiger? It looks like it is. It's tracking him. It loses him from his side range. And there it goes. Panzer IV in the center. Victory point 166 to 70. G fucking G, says Jewish Nazi. I guess he liked the game. And well, there's still two Tigers left on the field, so the Germans could pull back into this. However, currently triple capped, and they're down to 65 points, so they need to do something right now. Jewish Nazi saying that it was an amazing game. I guess he had a lot of fun playing it. And yeah, so AT gun's still back. Tier 4 getting brought down for Jewish Nazi. I guess he wants to get some Su-85s in the mix. Panzer IV pushes into the front of its former base, running into Grens and Panzer Grens and Shreks. Getting some damage done to it, but actually staying... No, actually he's gonna die. Here it goes. Staying alive for a little bit, goes out of control, crashes into the base. Artillery shots hitting the flak panzer, not actually doing too much damage to the infantry. And yeah, I mean the tank doesn't take too much damage from the artillery gun. Flak Panzer does go down. Artillery barrage continues to shoot down to one man on each of the Grand Squads. Grand Squads retreat. Not much left back at base. Artillery shot lands right on top of everything and destroys the wreckage, but the squads make it alive. Light artillery barrage right on top of the AT gun, which once again, for some reason, we just don't see it in the overlay for any reason. Because we see back at base, these are reinforcing. Yeah, so some are actually ahead, some are behind, so yeah, something went wrong in the time of recording this, because they all should have been synced up, but whatever. It gives you a rough idea of what's going on, right? ISU with some T-34s over here for support, a Katusha being produced by Jewish Nazi just to add fire, but, well, with no points left, the Germans lose, and the Soviets get themselves a victory. So not bad. Not bad at all. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.